Hello, hello, you guys. I got all the way down through the second row and I realized I never turned my microphone on, but I had the microphone in the little charger hole and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, none of that took. None of the audio happened." So I'm gonna have to try it again. Again, I did have Google do the reading for us, and that is on that playlist for Awakening the Artistic Seer Asks page. But I also wanted to come on and kind of try to do it myself in my own way that I usually would have gone about this. So here we are. I'm going to go for take two of what it is that I see in this story. With the Midas touch, we were talking, or I had said, that the overall energy is the Midas touch. Someone didn't have the forethought to know what it was that their wish was going to create for them. It ended up being a curse for this individual, with everything they touch actually turning to gold. And yeah, it's great if you have a mug and it turns into gold. Now you can sell it for, whatever gold is worth. But if you are loving someone and you give them a hug, now that person turns into gold and their heart is stone. They're just cold. What are you going to do? I mean, I guess you could sell them as a mannequin or something, right? But that's really sad. And that's the overall energy about having the forethought about, maybe someone's looking towards the past of things and they're like, wow, I should have made better decisions. We have the straight jacket over there with the female seahorse and then the sprout there. Those are the split of the deck cards. Those are cards that are kind of interrupting the overall energy, and it is something that maybe is not being really looked at, but it's something important to look at. The female seahorse is looking right at that jacket. Maybe she's looking at the past and she's thinking, wow, that was a lot that I went through. Um, she totally fills people up and she gives all of herself and she wants to give all of herself in order to build something, perhaps build a legacy of some sort. Looking at this straitjacket now, she has her boundaries and she definitely is not trying to put herself in a place where she could hurt herself as far as making poor choices, as far as who she loves and depleting herself so much that she's not able to take care of herself. Going forward, considering it, she is seeing that everything that she filled in or filled up or gave to others is now coming. What she reaps, she is sowing. So all of that stuff that she has been given out is on its way coming back to her. We've got the ghosts and ghouls with the comma. There's a break there. Someone's taken a break maybe from looking about all the ghosts in the past. We've got the ribbit who is probably doing this, thinking about all the people that they were involved with or had arrangements with or people they've lost. It could be coming back to haunt them. Um, and then I had mentioned about, how many frogs you got to kiss in order to find a prince. And I had said that, if you really had a true prince, it really wouldn't matter if you did take that pause and if you did take that time to kind of see if that person was truly kiss while, if that makes sense. A true prince will wait for you to make that decision, and their actions will always be upfront and clear, and they wouldn't have you questioning whether they loved you or not. It's, who is it that you really want to wake up to every day, right? Um, I had mentioned something about the destruction of the flowers. I don't remember how that really fit in. Maybe I was saying how there's no confusion, there's no question whether someone loves you or not. It's like not something that you need to destroy a flower to figure out. You don't have to destroy what nature created in order to figure out whether someone's a good person or not, because it will always be obvious. You don't have to spend time trying to figure out the details and play dot to dot in order to know if somebody is going to actually sell their integrity, right? Um, right. Again, about having that forethought. Who is it that you want to actually wake up to every day? Um, we've got that ear listening to your inner guidance. Um, I'm really kind of sad because I really liked how it was going the last time, but you know what? It is what it is. Maybe something wasn't meant to be said or heard on the first go around. So here we are. We have the visitor here at the end, and then we've got the ear here. Maybe you're going to hear from a visitor from somewhere long distance travel away, somewhere on a different continent, because you need your passport to go to another continent, right? They could be coming along maybe at some point where it's a little bit dusk. Maybe the sun is setting at that point. Um, let's see, attracting blockages. Okay. Perhaps because you have this knowledge or this foresight or this information about, I don't know what I had said, about whatever it is that you do have the knowledge or information about, you're attracting blockages of some sort. Someone didn't like the fact that you were a hard worker and that you were wise, you had wisdom, and that you were actually had ways to heal yourself. Like you always kept yourself taken care of. You were always healthy. You were always working really hard, always had a project or something of that sort. And there's someone who might be attracted to that, who is from another country. They might be recognizing that and they're like, wow, that's a really hard worker. And I really like that, their personality and their work ethic and whatnot. You could be totally in tune with yourself as far as like the snake is also the Kundalini connection as well. We've got the ram down here on the third row, which is an Aries. They like to be first in most things. Maybe the Aries is who's going to come and tell you something. Maybe this person is involved in some kind of music or podcasting or interviewing or anything that has to do with a microphone. They are wanting to come and express themselves. It could have something to do with a computer as well. Whatever it is that is being heard or said is going to put someone in like the state of like, what? Kind of like a deer in headlights. They're not going to really know what to do with the information. They're not going to do with how, maybe they won't know how to do with somebody's reaction to that. Let's see, a loaf. Are they just taking a break? Are they being a loaf? Are they breaking bread with someone? Is it finances or money or whatnot? Because you've been working so hard and you are waking up at the crack of dawn maybe and having your coffee, or, you're keeping to your routine. Maybe someone's breadcrumbing. I don't see the cookie here, so maybe not. A little bit of sweetness though. Maybe it's French toast. So the camp, either going and trying to kick up your heels and try to relax, like because we have the loaf here, or it could be a community of some sort. It could be a community that has more of a Neanderthal kind of mentality. Perhaps they're the type of people who just have real low emotional intelligence. They could be aggressive. They could kind of spout out. They could really not know how to handle themselves when they're confronted with any kind of emotional kind of situation. They're a little bit more ancient in their mentality. They're not too creative on how they respond or express themselves or whatnot. They're just very, you know, their tools are kind of limited. We have our hover and our drone here. Someone could be into doing cinematography, I think it's called. Or they could be someone who likes to just go out and fly their drone. Or considering we've got these, the passport, it could even be drones from another country, so to speak. That I know we had that big thing where all those drones were coming around and they were flying in certain cities and whatnot. And from what I understand, there was like masses and masses of drones, and no one ever knew what it was that they were doing and who they were looking for and what was going on with that. But I mean, honestly, for me, I feel like maybe it was a practice run of some sort. Just my feeling, it just seemed a little odd that they were there and now they're not there, or how do they even get permission to do that? And how did they just not go ahead and research any more of that? They could all be in the same camp, right? Again, though, it could also be someone who's doing some kind of production and they love flying those drones in order to get that footage from the higher point of view. We've got this pushed out card with the little coyote and his mountain lion buddy. We've got all those houses in behind. It's like, you push these animals out and then they come in and they're looking for food because you built on top of all the places where all their food would have been having their homes at. And now it's like they're coming back and they're affecting your own community and your own life, and you're just like, wait a minute, what happened? This isn't fair. We need to take care of this problem. Well, someone didn't have the foresight to realize that that's their home. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, there's cases where there's what was that, the Chernobyl or something like that, and they're watching those animals and how they're kind of mutating and evolving from that situation. But I mean, they still have all of the other food sources that are already there. It's not like they're being pushed out from that area. They're actually being kept in that area in order for them to be able to study them and to see how they respond to their environment that way. Someone could be, after being pushed out, maybe someone is kind of like really looking inward in themselves. They're not really listening too much to the outside world anymore. Maybe that was a heavy influence for them prior. They really listened to more about what was going on externally, right? Versus taking a break and kind of checking in within themselves for what they were trying to say and what they were trying to connect with. And sweet makeup. Maybe when pigs fly, maybe someone has the mentality of, maybe someone kicked somebody out and maybe someone broke up with someone and they're like, yeah, I'll never take that person back. Well, pigs are flying, and maybe someone's going to come in with some sweetness and some candy and sugarcoat some stuff and want to make up with someone and want to fill someone's carriage with like maybe a baby carriage, or maybe they're going to want to like whisk them off to some, land from times before, considering the carriage is right here under the Neanderthal, and they're going to go and rustle snakes, right? Work on the simpler things in life because that's their ultimate dream. That's their ultimate wish, is to be able to have everything. And maybe this person's going to say, you know what, I'm really going to, I'll take care of you. You'll be taken care of. We could just hang out at home. I'll make you a sandwich. But all in all, that there's going to be isolation there, and that fish is alone, right? Do you really want to have the boundaries or the glass in between you and somebody else? And that's making me think of living in glass houses, always being watched, always being supervised, especially when it's underneath this hover card. Now, all of this stuff was all what was in the past, and then we've got our colon card being the last card of the reading or the story, and this is what is going to what's to come. Hasn't been determined yet, it hasn't been seen yet, it hasn't been known yet. And it's still developing and it's still on its way. We've got our fishbowl and our ghosts right there. Maybe that being isolated and maybe being supervised or being watched or being taken care of, whatever that may mean. Maybe that's a thing of the past, right? Maybe it was all a misunderstanding. I'm thinking Casper the Ghost, he had all of his buddies that was wrecking havoc on stuff, and then they just assumed that because Casper was a ghost too, that Casper was a menace as well, when Casper was the one that was always just trying to, hey, can I get you some coffee? What can I do for you? Bringing people flowers, bringing people stuff like little gifts and things to do and whatnot. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe there was a misunderstanding and they ended up getting pushed out of what was given to them, what was made for them, what was their purpose, what was their environment, and they were pushed out of that. So now they've got to deal with it because somebody's integrity was for sale. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. In the center of the read, I guess it's just these two cards. We've got that bread and that blockage. So someone is definitely being blocked from making the money that they want to make and are capable of making. But that's all going to change because we've got the colon card, which is knocking all those pins down because it's a bowling ball, right? Nothing lasts forever if you consider all those little eights around it. Nothing lasts forever. There's something on the horizon and something good to happen. With that being said, make it a great day. Thank you so much for being here, and we will talk again soon. Take care.